turned out, I could put what I learned from those horror audiobooks to use in real life. The very next day I bought 2 security cameras, one facing the front door, the other aimed directly at the wardrobe. Even if it really was a ghost, I wanted to see what it looked like. For several days, the footage showed nothing unusual. But about half a month later, one night when I got home, it was already past 11:30 p.m. I rested for a bit, took a shower, and came out of the bathroom, drying my hair as I walked toward the bedroom. Then suddenly I froze. The towel slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. Because in that instant, I realized something terrifying. Since the moment I entered the apartment, I hadn't turned on a single light. Yet when I came in earlier, the lights in both the living room and bedroom were already on. At the time, I'd rushed straight to the bathroom and didn't think twice about it. Now that I remembered, my whole body went cold. I steadied myself and looked around. The apartment was completely silent. Not a sound. I went to the door and checked the lock. Still perfectly intact. No signs of forced entry. I scanned every corner. The only room left unchecked was the bedroom. Thinking about the last time when my wardrobe had been ransacked, I couldn't shake the feeling that if something was here, it would be there. Heart pounding, I crept toward the bedroom. Everything looked normal. But when I opened the wardrobe door, sure enough, the clothes were a mess again. I quickly pulled out my phone and opened the surveillance app, ready to check the footage. My heart was pounding like a drum as I started watching. From the moment I left that morning, all the way to 11 p.m. that night, I stared at the screen, not blinking, but saw no one, no ghost, nothing unusual. The lights never flickered, nothing moved. Just when I was about to relax and give up, a dark shadow suddenly appeared on the screen, slipping in from the outside. A second later, the living room light flicked on, and there, in the light, stood an old man. His face was pale and ashy gray, the color of a corpse, and his features twisted and lecherous. As soon as he came in, he headed straight for the bedroom, turned on the light, opened my wardrobe, and began rummaging through my things. Suddenly, the old man shuddered violently, as if possessed, then froze completely, motionless for several seconds. I could feel my heart nearly bursting out of my chest. Then, without warning, the old man turned around, ran to the bed, and crawled underneath it. The moment he disappeared under the bed, I saw myself entering the apartment on camera. Oh my God. I looked at the bed, just 2 meters away from where I was standing. My whole body began to tremble uncontrollably. If my guess was right, that thing was under my bed right now. Ha ha ha. Have you ever lived near a funeral home? It's said that every night at midnight, some wandering, ownerless souls drift through the streets, and if they encounter someone walking home late, they might follow them back. After earning my master's degree, I was lucky enough to become a high school teacher. The salary and benefits were great, and the school even provided free housing. The apartment was about 80 square meters, fully furnished with all the appliances, quite comfortable for a single person. The only downside? It was less than a kilometer away from the funeral home. Most of the nearby residents were elderly, so from time to time I could hear the slow, mournful funeral music drifting through the night. At first it made me a little uneasy, but after a while I got used to it. Near the end of the semester, work got hectic. I was always leaving early and coming home late, too busy to think about anything else. But one night, after taking a shower and getting ready for bed, I opened my wardrobe to pick out clothes for the next day to save time in the morning. The moment I opened the door, I froze. The wardrobe, which had always been neat and organized, was now a complete mess. Socks and underwear that should have been neatly packed in boxes were scattered everywhere, as if someone had rummaged through them. I instinctively tried to remember, had I done this myself? Maybe I'd been in a rush and forgotten. But then a chill ran down my spine. No. What if someone had broken in? I quickly checked the apartment. The computer and TV were still there. Nothing seemed to be missing. Then suddenly I remembered. I had 3,000 yuan in cash hidden in an envelope inside that same wardrobe, just in case of emergencies. Heart pounding, I dug through the clothes until I found the envelope. I opened it. The money was all there. Now it was even stranger. I went to check the front door. The lock was perfectly intact. Not a single sign of tampering. At that moment, a cold shiver crawled up the back of my neck. I suddenly remembered the mournful music I'd heard last night. And recently, I'd been listening to a lot of horror stories on the app. Zimalaya, stories where doors open by themselves, TVs turn on in the dark, and eerie things happen when you're alone at night. Normally, I'm not scared by such tales, but the voice actors on Zimalaya were too good. Their sound effects made the stories feel real and immersive, especially one story, The Haunted Room, which was eerily similar to what I was experiencing now. At first, I only meant to listen to 1 or 2 episodes, but then Zimalaya launched a 8/18 promotion with a super cheap annual pass and a buy one, get 5 deal. So of course I jumped on it and spent every bit of free time binge listening until the final episode. It was so thrilling. I was completely hooked. And that's when things started to get strange.